Hello and welcome to the HMG Global Leadership Institute Spotlight. I'm here with Scott Strickland. Scott's the EVP and CIO of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts Worldwide. Scott, great to see you today.
Thank you for having me, Hunter.
Hey, Scott, success is defined in so many different ways, and you've had an amazing career. I've had the privilege to track you now for going on a decade. What does success today look like for you in today's innovative and disruptive environment?
Well, it's been a pleasure to work with you, actually, Hunter, for about the past 8 years or so. And everything that you, your team, the CILA group, the HMG group all brings has just been phenomenal. And I'd say has actually contributed to my career. So thank you for that partnership as well before I get into this. Now, getting into it, what does success look like? What does digital transformation look like? What has the journey been? As I think about it, it's really, we have 3 different customer groups here, and I need each one of them to be successful if I'm going to consider what we're doing a success. First customer group is the guests, the people who stay at our hotels. Are we giving them the technology they need so that they have the experience they want? Are we allowing them to interact with us on the channels they want? You know about the consumerization of IT. You and I worked through that during COVID and everything. If we can't give them the technology in the hotels that they're accustomed to having at home, they won't stay with us. We got to allow them to cast. We got to allow them to pay by their phone. So if I can succeed there, I can succeed anywhere. Secondly, the franchisees. Those are my small business owners. The franchisees have 6,000 plus of our hotels globally, and they're small business owners. They're the mom and pops. They're running these. And if I can give them the technology they need to be successful, to run it operationally, to compete, to pay the littlest, smallest amount out there and get the best tech stack in the business, then they're successful. And then finally, the team members. If my internal team members here at Wyndham have the technology they need, then they're successful. And that changed throughout COVID, that changed post-pandemic, that's changing with the new generation that's coming in. You know, the table stakes on everything from Zoom technology to PCs to collaborative workspaces to tools such as Slack are just expected, as opposed to where we were before, where those were luxuries or something that just somebody in IT used.
Scott, you've had, again, an amazing run at Wyndham and through one of the most challenging times in modern day. I know you're very aligned with the C-suite, the line of business, and the board. Talk to us about your relations with the C-suite and the CEO.
Sure. I've been really fortunate to work with a CEO here who believes in the power of technology. And that's really allowed us to earn the proverbial seat at the table. And I use that word very carefully. You're not given, you earn, and then you have to re-earn that seat at the table. What have you done for me lately? But having the door open from the beginning has helped. So in terms of those relationships, I'd counsel everybody, don't be an order taker, be a thought partner, be a business leader, get out there, understand what the business needs, make suggestions. Also, when you're interacting with your peers, I heard a saying once, we have one mouth and 2 ears for a reason. It's so that we can listen more. So when you're interacting with your peers, listen to their needs and suggest solutions. Again, don't just be that order taker. And then thirdly, spend time with them. I think I've shared in the past with you, Hunter, we went off-site. We were actually at Google, and I arranged an executive retreat at Google. We were off-site. We got on the bicycles. We rode out to the lake, and we sat around in a circle, quite literally sat around in a circle and talked about what was going on with the business. That was one of the most compelling and authentic leadership experiences I've ever had.
Great stuff, Scott. You know, again, a challenging time. What challenge did you and your team overcome that built a stronger outcome, a stronger team?
If I think back, probably one of the biggest challenges we faced was our acquisition of the La Quinta brand. This was 900 additional hotels, $1.9 billion acquisition that we announced and then closed within 9 months. If you look at the way some of our competitors do it, it's 4 to 5 to 6 years. And we delivered this within 9 months. And what that meant for us is that we needed to lead cross-functionally. So it was interesting. We'd committed to the largest synergy targets. We had the largest team, and everyone assumed, oh, IT is going to be the critical path. So if they're going to be the critical path, let's put them in charge of this. So we were, but we used being in charge to pull the cross-functional team together and actually to point out, we'll be able to deliver the technology. What's going to be harder is the organizational transformational change here, the training, the communication as we work through that. So that was the biggest challenge we faced to date, with the one exception, of course, of being the pandemic.
So Scott, what are the innovations that you and your team are working on now that excite you most?
What I love about the innovations we're working on right now is it's not just pure technology, but it actually is going to do good for the world. So one of them is providing electrical vehicle charging across our hotels. We have 6,000 hotels in North America, an additional 3,000 worldwide. Of those 6,000 in North America, 90% of them are located within a mile of an interstate. We are in a great position to set up an EV charging network, working with our partners that would both, of course, benefit the environment and benefit our 100 million loyalty members worldwide. In addition, right now, we're working on green initiatives within the hotel that are completely technology enabled. So here's a simple one. Hey, Hunter, if you're staying at a place for 3 nights and you want to skip housekeeping, can you go to the app and enter that? Because if you can skip housekeeping, then we don't have to do your sheets. We don't have to worry about your pillowcases or your towels. And you take the 700,000 people that stay at our hotels every day, and you get a couple of % of those to skip housekeeping, suddenly you're making a difference in the environment. The other thing we're working on right now is turning on and off AP points within a hotel. If you leave the hotel, if you leave your room, why should we have the wireless AP point running? It's actually a big consumer of electricity. So as soon as you leave that room, let's shut that down. And then as soon as you check back in or walk in that door, let's activate it. That can save a lot of electricity and ultimately our small business owners a lot of money every month.
Leading and building a world-class culture matter. We studied Stephen M. R. Covey last year. Give us some tips, some insights into your leadership style, because you are so dynamic and so creative. What works for you?
As Covey said, it's really about the speed of trust. And it's establishing that trust with your key folks, both within your organization and outside of your organization. So what works for me in terms of leadership style, it's that servant-based leadership style, removing the roadblocks for people. And then more importantly, telling their story. Ultimately, being able to tell a story, I feel, is one of those things that most CIOs don't do well. As a CIO, we're out there, we need to sell a project, sell a vision, provide a sense of calm when there is an issue, and learning to build that narrative is something, again, that most people don't do well, and we should all work on better.
Great stuff, Scott. You know, I'm in the process of pulling together book 7 all around visionary leadership. What does visionary leadership mean for you, being one of our top picks at HMG Strategy in the 2023 Global Leadership Institute program?
So visionary leadership is absolutely about having that narrative, having that vision, and selling it a little bit so everybody can get excited. It's also about ensuring that everybody understands how they fit in. How does an organization, across my organization, I have almost 2,000 people, how do all of those folks understand how they fit in to what we're trying to deliver? It's also about explaining the mission behind that vision. Mission today is more important than ever. As I look at the folks we're hiring out of universities, one of the first things they're asking me is, well, what is Wyndham's mission and vision? Oh, what? You don't want to know about the job. You want to know about what we do as a company. So being able to articulate, again, that narrative, what is your company's mission and vision, and how those folks fit in is critical. And then finally, do cool stuff. That's how you retain people. That's how you grow people. That's how you keep people excited to work within the organization. Cool means different things in different industries, and you'll have to define that for yourself.
Hey, Scott, you're, again, one of the more dynamic, holistic executives we have in the complete global platform and network at HMG Strategy. Through the pandemic and today, going forward, what have you learned and what are you doubling down on that's working for you now holistically? Mind, body, and spirit, open book.
Absolutely. So in terms of maintaining a full mental health, as you indicated, it is physical health, it's mental health, it's emotional and spiritual health. I was confiding in you, Hunter, I took up transcendental meditation. It's something that has helped me certainly in terms of a sense of calm. It's also helped me in terms of thinking about the organization, thinking about and addressing problems both for myself professionally, personally, and spiritually. So I encourage folks, you've got to look at your whole being. You can't just look at one part.
Great stuff, Scott. Again, congratulations on the 2023 Global Leadership Institute Large Cap recipient. I love working with you. It's been an amazing journey and looking forward to many more years.
Absolutely, Hunter. And thank you so much for the recognition and to the entire HMG team.